guys, you can too here. Today I'm going to be making apple and fruit crumble, but I'm using apple and blackberry. You can use any combination of fruit you like. As you can see, I've got a huge panful here. I've got 2 kilos of blackberries in here and 3 kilos of apples. You can obviously do much less, but what I tend to do a lot is bulk cooking. I've got the heat on this already, starting to cook it down. If you put your apples straight into the crumble and straight into the oven, they're going to stay solid and it's not as pleasant. If you do it like this and cook them down a bit, I haven't added any sugar yet because I want it to cook down a bit first. Taste it and see. Always go by taste. If you add a load of sugars, recipes will sometimes say like ½ a pound of sugar or something, you put the sugar in and it's far too sweet and it spoils it, so I always go by taste. The pan that I use is a great big jam pan. You can pick them up at car boot sales and things like that. I think I paid about £3 for mine. You can buy expensive branded ones, but why would you? Right, whilst that fruit's cooking down, I'm going to go over to the other side and I'm going to start weighing my ingredients for my crumble mix. So we'll head over here. One of the things you might find a bit confusing with me is sometimes I work in pounds and ounces and sometimes I work in grams and kilograms and everything. I'm afraid I'm of that age where decimalisation came in when I was at school. So on this crumble, although I've got a large amount of fruit there, I'm only actually today making one sort of smallish or family size crumble. So I want 4 ounces of plain flour. Oh, look at that, bang on. To that I add 4 ounces of porridge oats. I always use these big jars because I find it easier than loads and loads of packets hanging around in the pantry, and I keep the cup measures in them because often you work in cups. A lot of the recipes on YouTube and things now are in cup measures and it's handy to have them about. You can pick them up really inexpensively. So that's 4 ounces of plain flour, 4 ounces of porridge oats. Any old porridge oats will do, it doesn't have to be anything special. Demerara sugar. You can use granulated sugar, but I like Demerara because it gives it a bit more of a sort of toffee taste. So again, we're on 4 ounces of that. 4 ounces of plain flour, 4 ounces of rolled oats, 4 ounces of Demerara sugar, and then we want 5 ounces of fat. Butter or margarine. Yes, butter is better, but it is dear. So margarine works just as well. And all I'm going to do with that is just mix it all together. Coat the fat so you're not getting it all over your fingers as much. You're going to anyway, but you just mix it all in, crumbling it between your fingers so that you're rubbing the flour and the oats and the sugar into the fat, and you're basically breaking the fat down. Turn over right to the bottom because there's nothing worse than ending up with a big blob of flour at the bottom. You can see that's pretty much mixed together now. I'm happy with that. With crumble, when you put it on the top, don't pack it down. That's one of the mistakes a lot of people make. You put it on and then pack it down, then you try and get your knife through and it's like trying to get it through a slab. Just sprinkle it over the top. It should just go over the top like that. Okay, get all the goo off my fingers. This is one of the parts I absolutely hate. Not good with sticky yucky on my fingers. Right, I'm just going to wash my hands quickly. Okay, so back to the fruit. There's quite a lot of liquid in there. Now I haven't actually put any liquid in there at all, so that's just come off the fruit. The blackberries were frozen because I picked them a few weeks ago. Blackberry season's pretty much over now. Okay, so you can see that the fruit has cooked down quite a bit. It's looking much nicer. As I said, all in all, I've got 5 kilos of fruit here. We're only going to use a fraction of that today. What I'm going to do then is bag it, cool it, and freeze it in portion sizes. So next time I want to make a crumble, I can just take a bag out, throw it in the crumble dish, make the crumble to go on top, and that's it. I've weighed out 500 grams of just ordinary white sugar here. Doesn't need to be Demerara inside, because sugar is sugar is sugar as far as the inside's concerned. You're going to put some spices in there, maybe a little flour to thicken it up and everything. So I'm going to put that in. So that's 500 grams of sugar to 5 kilos of fruit. It's not going to be terribly sweet yet. As I say, I will taste it and see how it goes. You can, if you want to make it like a sort of poshish crumble for if you've got company coming over, you can add, there are various liqueurs you can add depending on the fruit you're using. There is a blackberry liqueur out there. You can get cherry liqueurs if you want to use cherries in your crumble. There are apple liqueurs. You can just add brandy, rum, anything, just to give it a little bit of a kick. Spices, I think I'm going to add some I might add today just some mixed spice. I'm a bit of a jar klepto. I love all my jars. Right, now because I've got 5 kilos of fruit in there, I'm going to put a couple of rounded dessert spoons of mixed spice in there. And stir that in. Now, as I say, because I've had the fruit in the freezer, obviously there's a lot of liquid gathered in it. So what I'm going to do, because I don't want a sloppy, runny, horrible crumble, I'm also going to sift in a couple of tablespoons excuse me, of ordinary flour, just ordinary plain flour, and that will thicken it up. I don't want it thick, I don't want it like a jelly. Oops. There's one. And there's two. I'm making a right mess here. I'm just going to stir that in, and that will go in. And what will happen, that will thick up, sort of like a sweet version of a gravy, if you like. So it'll be thicker, more along the lines of a pie filling. You can see that's actually starting to thicken already, and that's absolutely perfect. I don't want it any thicker than that, because it is a dessert at the end of the day. Don't want a jelly. And again, I don't need to overcook the flour at this stage, because it will be going into the oven. Now I'm happy with that. If you look at the apple, that's still a little bit firm. You can see there's still a bit of crunch to it. Okay. The blackberries will pretty much dissolve because they've been frozen. They're not going to hold their shape, and to be honest, when blackberries cook, they don't hold their shape very much anyway. But the taste is amazing. Okay, so I'm going to turn the heat off under that, and then with my trusty ladle, this is the bowl I'm using today, just about the size of my hand. Okay, it's just an ordinary casserole dish, and I'm going to put, get my handle out of the way. The reason I have the handle up like this is if you lay it down, the handle gets hot jam pans are designed to have the handles stand up like that, because obviously when you're making jam and things like that, they get very hot. You don't want to burn yourself, so you stand it up like that. I'm not worried about that now because obviously I'm not making jam today. So I'm going to ladle my fruit filling into put 7 ladles full in there because I like it really fruity. And if you come back over here, this is a good stage also to have a little taste. So that actually works really well. So I put 500 grams of sugar to 5 kilos of fruit. But as I say, taste it, because different fruits have different sweetnesses. You know, if you were to use maybe a sweet plum, it would be really, really sweet and you wouldn't maybe need that much sugar. If you were to use like a sharp cooking plum, it would need more sugar. If you were to use just cooking apples, you'd need more sugar. It really does depend on the fruit, so always taste. I'm going to let my cameraman have a crafty taste and see what he thinks. Yeah. Nod of approval. Right, so we've got that. The crumble mix. Now just sort of sprinkle it over. As I say, you are not pressing it down. You're not, and it doesn't have to be perfect. It's a rustic dessert. It's a country dessert. You can zhuzh it up, as I say. You can put some booze in it. You can, you know, you can add all sorts. You can add pretty much anything you want. Anything that you like, you can try adding it. A lot of cookery is just trial and error. Try it. If you like it, do it again. If you don't like it, lesson learned. Don't do it again. Okay, so that is ready to go into the oven. If you want a bit more crusty on it, you can sprinkle a little more Demerara sugar over it, or you can just leave it as that. I leave it as that because I'm happy with that. That's now going to go into the oven at 180 degrees. Excuse me, and that will be in the oven for about 40 minutes. And I will show you again when it's cooked and looking glorious. Okay, so I'm going to sign off for now. I will just ask, if you like this video and if it's been helpful, then please remember to like it and subscribe. Don't forget, I have lots of other videos. If you've got loads of fruit, if you're making crumble because you've got loads of fruit, you can make jam, you can make pickles, you can make chutneys. The list is endless, and I will be doing all these things on my channel. So please, please, please like and subscribe, and we'll try all sorts of things together. And if there's anything in particular that you want me to do, if there's something that you want to try and you're frightened of trying, by all means let me know and I'll do it. Okay guys, so the crumbles come out of the oven. As you can see, it's lovely and crispy. I'm just going to run a knife around the edge so that when you cut into it, you're not leaving great big, because these sticky bits around the side are amazing. Whoops. Okay, probably best to start in the middle and cut out because it does go crispy. A lot of the fruit juice has soaked through, which is meant to happen, and some of the crumble mix will have soaked into the fruit, so it's going to be absolutely gorgeous. This is not going to be neat because you can't be neat with crumble, she says. And then there's all that lovely fruit.